Hello, everyone. Welcome. Just let everyone get settled. How's everyone doing? Fantastic. Right, let's get started then. Hello and welcome to this final event and this Writer's Block 3-week digital residency with Guleraana Mia. Thank you all for coming, and thank you to those tuning in via the magic of YouTube. This is Block Party, our end of residency celebration, and I'm inviting you to celebrate with us today by hopefully sharing some of your work and also taking part in some celebratory discussions. I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who's taken part in the workshops, Block Socials, Enterprise Hub, and the Monday morning prompts. And I hope those who had one-to-ones with Guleraana were able to gain a lot from it. I'd like to thank our techs, Jenny and Georgia, who have been working tirelessly to make sure that everything runs smoothly as it can. And I'd like to thank Lauren for her moderating and Amy for hosting Enterprise Hub. And of course, our biggest thank you to Guleraana herself for an absolutely fantastic residency that was full of humor, fascinating writing topics, and well thought out workshops. Guleraana will be sharing her writing response to this residency, which I'm sure will be amazing. But before we begin, I thought it might be nice if we went around the room and if everyone would like to share one thing that they have enjoyed about this residency. Shall we start with Guleraana herself? What is one thing that you've really enjoyed about your residency with us, Guleraana?
I've just enjoyed meeting everybody and those that have shared their work with me, getting to know that work, and just been really surprised and excited by how varied and exciting and interesting it is. So thank you for trusting me with your work.
Well, I've enjoyed, so this is my first writer's block, the first one that I've run, and as I've been getting to grips with the system, Guleraana has been so patient and so lovely. And so I just wanted to thank her again for that, for being just such a lovely person. What about you, Sheila? What have you enjoyed?
I enjoy always the community aspect of the sharing and, having somebody like Guleraana conduct the workshops during the residency. What really inspired me was her talk on the personal and the political. Really got me going. Thank you.
Wonderful. Hi, Arthur. What about you?
Afternoon. Yeah, I'd just like to say that I could have gone out and spent £500 on therapy, but I had my one-to-one and it worked out fantastic. I think Guleraana's in the wrong job. You should be a therapist, my dear. You sorted my head out. Thanks very much.
That's lovely. We've got a message there in the chat from Sana. Sana says, Guleraana has brought an exciting energy to WoW with really interesting and engaging subject matter. All of the workshops were so much fun as well. Thank you, Sana. Sonia, just because you've just recently joined, we're just going around and we're asking everyone to name one thing that they've really enjoyed about this residency. What about Jenny? Jenny, what have you enjoyed about the residency?
I enjoyed how carried away I was getting while listening to the workshops and forgetting that I was supposed to be actually working and helping people, but they were just so interested and I couldn't help myself and wanted to answer all the questions in the workshops and get involved.
And Georgia, what about you?
I've enjoyed all the discussions about the current media that we're seeing, current TV shows and films, and looking at the representation and the diversity in that, because I really love that stuff. I really love looking at representation in media.
Lauren hasn't been there for all of them, but Lauren, have you got anything to share?
Yes, I thought it brilliant. I've been watching back some of the events, so I've got a chance to catch up, and I just want to say it's an absolutely fabulous residency, Guleraana. It's such a enlightening and fascinating discussion that you've held with the Bloc socials and everyone's work that they've generated as well. So it's been a pleasure.
Fantastic. And Tasmia.
Sorry about that, struggling to unmute myself there. I really love being part of this, and I think my favorite bit was all the kind of collaborative work that we were doing in terms of everyone contributing to the discussion, and particularly really enjoyed the form and structure social that we had. That was really, really good. We were talking, it really helped me understand the difference between the two, but also really understand what people are really enjoying in terms of media that we're watching, that we're reading, and things like that. So really enjoyed that, and really loved how open and welcoming Guleraana has been, welcoming us into this world, and really helping everyone put their thoughts and their voice out there, which is amazing. So thank you, Guleraana, for your amazing time.
Well, that's absolutely lovely. Guleraana has been writing notes and absorbing all of her time during the 3-week residency, and she's come up with a little piece of work. Would you like to share with us? Is that all right?
Yeah. I'll share my screen so people. Host has disabled participant screen sharing. I will try again. There we go. So I'll share my screen so you can read along if you want to. I will try and make it bigger so you can't see the other stuff on my page. No, that didn't work. Oh yeah, no, maybe. I don't know. Right, here we go. A creative response to writer's block, January 2022. So, bear with me. I'm not entirely comfortable reading my own work, but here we go. In April 2021, I learned that the Globe was designed in the way that it is in order to create dialogue between artist and audience. Back then, the thinking was that you understood yourself best when in dialogue with something or someone else. And this made my little neurodivergent heart sing. You see, I've always found that I process thoughts and emotions and find solutions to problems in conversation with someone else. It's why I'm constantly talking out loud, often regardless of whether anyone's actually there to respond. I tell myself it's because there's too many thoughts inside, so there has to be a way to release the pressure, like half opening a bottle of Coke to dampen the fizz in case it spurts all over you. But standing on the stage of one of the most iconic theatres in the world, I listened to an academic tell me, no, that's just how it was in that time. We relied on connection to facilitate our own understanding. Everything was relational. Why did this feel so revolutionary? For those of you who don't know, ADHD storytelling can be wildly complicated, with hours of context and very little action. Pretty ironic, given I'm a professional storyteller and teach others to construct stories that will engage and excite audiences. So it's only fitting that I just deleted a whole paragraph about my early experiences of childhood friendships and attachment issues. Anyway, the point. What's the point? I can already hear you asking. How does one residency at the Globe almost a year ago relate to this one at Writer's Block? Well, friends, if you can indulge me with one more crumb of context, okay, maybe two, I can try to explain. The first, I read a lot when I was younger. I liked escaping to other places when real life wasn't stimulating enough, or my then undiagnosed ADHD made it difficult to be around other people. And second, towards the end of 2021, I don't know why I said it like that. Towards the end of 2021, I set an intention that my 2022 would be full of reconnection. This year, I want to prioritize connection, whether that's intentional or unexpected, with old friends or new collaborators. Writer's Block has allowed me to do just that. The themes of the residency, personal and political, authentic representation, form and content, finding your niche, etc., all rely on discovering how you and me as artists connect to the world we live in. After all, what's more political than declaring who you are and what you stand for? And what's more human than doing that in dialogue with others? Finally, I wanted to share a Facebook memory that popped up in early January. I'd shared the following after the death of Elizabeth Wurtzel, author of Prozac Nation, which I'd read as a teenager and had felt profoundly affected by. I wrote, "Damn, the more I think about the death of Elizabeth Wurtzel, the more I realize that it's a real gift to be able to write in a way that allows people to find the best and worst parts of themselves in your experiences. Write from a place of truth, with a sense of passion, and you never know who might spend their life thinking of you." I wrote that. And only a few days later, I came across the following quote by James Baldwin. "Art has to be some kind of confession. If you can face and examine your life, you can discover the terms in which you are connected to other lives, and they can discover them too. To read is to pursue connection, but to write is to offer up a part of yourself that others can connect to. And so I continued to write, to offer up my confessions, to try and connect the dots between the internal and the external, to find my place in society, and represent that as authentically as possible. I previously would have said that once I get there, I'd prop the door open for you all. But the way you've shown up to the workshops and socials, the incredible work you shared, the privilege you've given me by allowing me to be a part of your own journeys only reinforces my sincere belief that we don't really need industry validation. It really isn't about where you're headed, but about enjoying the journey and cultivating connections along the way. Thank you all for playing a part in my year of reconnection. I plan on reflecting, refocusing, and galvanizing myself. I invite you to do the same." That's the main thing. If you'd like me to keep going, I have a few short pieces that are in direct response to some of the themes that we've been exploring. And I'm going to stop sharing because then I can see your faces. Shall I keep going? Yeah, okay, great.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was muted then. I said, yes, that would be brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, great. Okay, fine. So on the personal and the political, some bodies are political. My politic is personal. My experiences are examples of a body that's been politicized to the point of depersonalization. I feel like I should do a little and line. Okay, great. And let's all remember that I'm not a poet, right? So this is I don't know what this is. Being vulnerable right now. Okay, is it personal when? Is it personal when you're told that you'll never play Juliet? So what's the point? Is it personal when you will always pick last for sports teams? Is it personal when people tell you you look? Is it personal when people tell you you don't look like you're from there? The there that they struggled to get to the bottom of? Is it personal when someone scores a racial slur on your car, or when a brown man asks you why you only write stories, or when US immigration detained you for over 2 hours? Is it personal when a woman in a community building workshop makes a joke about you blowing up Canary Wharf, or your ex-mother-in-law sends you EDL videos, or you're left out of family gatherings because you don't have children? Is it personal when you're not like other, insert arbitrary identifier, or when you're definitely not like another, insert arbitrary identifier? Is it personal when you give them the magic formula, but it's still not quite what they're looking for at this time? Or is it personal when your stories aren't commercial enough? Your stories aren't what they expected? Is it personal when you aren't what they expected?
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much.
There's another one.
Oh,
There's
great.
another...
Oh, go. Sorry. I was
There's
interrupted.
too many.
I'll
okay,
shut
no,
up now.
they're all smaller now. Okay, big ideas. The biggest idea I ever had was that I could be anything other than myself. I can't. And why should I? Finding your niche. What does it mean to center yourself in your work? Characters, well-being, process, career, a pebble of vulnerability, a ripple effect. And then the last one, I promise you, and then you can all share and I can just like silently absorb it. Right, form and content. If you collaborate, find the universality, embrace the art, we'll embrace the experience, feel the universality and connect. Unseen. And now this will be on the internet for perpetuity, and I'll just go like have a small meltdown in the corner.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much for that. That was really, really gorgeous. So we've got Sheila as well, has brought some poems with today to share with us. And so if Sheila wouldn't mind, we'll head over to Sheila.
Thank you. Yeah, and I'm going to blame Guleraana for whatever comes out of this because it's only, and they're not poems, more reflections. Okay, first is called Shadows. She awoke in a city that didn't sleep, bumped shoulder to shoulder with shadows she couldn't shake off, walked streets where fear was her constant companion. Eyes watching, different from the covert eyes that she knew and could read from their shadow places behind the curtains or the half-open door. Those watching eyes saw a difference, not sameness. The unfamiliar left few hiding places, nowhere to run. Yet, in the difference, especially from those who moved out of the shadows, she recognized something familiar, a stirring within herself. She smiled. The smile was returned. Okay, and hunger. She saw it in the emaciated bodies of women and children in the hunger. She saw it in the emaciated bodies of women and children in the refugee camps. She spent a summer as a volunteer, made her feel good. There she discovered a deeper hunger, a residue from the camp, a hunger that food did not satisfy. She befriended fear. She had to survive. The women and children were her teachers. She learned that fear is a hunger that eats at our innards, causing us to grovel in the dirt of dependence, eating the crumbs that fall from the rich man's table. And she realized she too was supposed to be grateful. She too was part of the system. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was absolutely wonderful.
Oh, that was so good, Sheila.
Thank you. Thank you, Rama. Thank you.
Right, so we just had two really, really beautiful pieces. So are there any thoughts? What do people think?
I love how she, I'm just gonna say, I love how I could totally see how you'd gone for the personal and the political in that last one, Sheila. That was really beautiful. And just your wordplay is so good. Such a great use of language.
I could listen to your work all day, Sheila. It's really, really beautiful. The description in it is so vivid. Yeah, I just encourage you to write more and more and more and keep bringing it back to us.
Yeah, and keep putting it out there, like beyond these Zoom rooms, because, you know, if there's 6 people, I can't count, 9 people in this room are so excited about what you're writing, then it would be, I'm sure it'd reach and resonate with many more people.
Yeah, please do keep sharing.
Yeah, I need to have the confidence to put it out there, but this is part of building that. Thank you.
I don't know what that was. That was like some motivating, because it's not, I can't give you a GIF normally. Let me find you a motivational GIF.
Thank you. Because it's for everybody. Because I think this is part of all of our the challenge of writers in general, is to have the confidence to put our work out there in the public. So that's where I find WOW is so brilliant, because it allows us to share our work.
There you go. Yeah, a motivational GIF for you there, Sheila.
I love it.
Yes.
Can I change my highlight of the residency to that, please?
That's fantastic. Well, everyone who's just joined, if we're sort of sharing work, so if you do have anything to share, please do raise your hand and we'd love to hear it. Oh, Arthur, we'd love to hear from you.
I just wanted to bring some of what I brought for the last sort of block parties. Was something that Luke Barnes read out for me, and I think it's still very provocative, and it's still very sort of heartfelt. So I've just done this poem also in a open mic at the Pagoda Art Centre. So I'd just like to contribute. It's part of my hospital survival poetry. It's only short. Shall I carry on? Yeah. It's called Kisme. Hold my hand, smile, tell me I'm not dying. Hide your emotions, stop those tears, that crying. We were meant to be together, a Scouse and a Yazidi. You fleeing death and persecution, me death and COVID. Life's not easy. Proud to be a Peshmerga, my Xena warrior princess, a fighter. Your smile makes my pain, my trauma somewhat lighter. Stars collide, planets implode. The odds of us holding hands is karma, meant to be. Thank you, my Xena nurse. Your strategy, your struggle, your insight totally sets me free. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Earlier this week, Sana shared some really a really fascinating film, and so I'm just going to send that over to Georgia to share, and we can share that. But what is everyone's thoughts on Arthur's wonderful poem?
I was at the block party when Luke read it out, and I'm really proud of you, Arthur, for reading it out yourself, because it's such an emotionally charged poem, and I think it's incredible that you're reading that at open mics now.
Yeah, that was something we talked about in our one-to-one, about how it was really nice that somebody had taken care of Arthur's work for him, but it was time for him to step into the role of taking charge of his own work. So I'm really proud that you managed to read it, not only here in like this incredibly safe space, but also at an open mic where people didn't know you. That's great. That's amazing. So next step is like building on that, and then you'll have this whole body of work that you can share.
I think I need my therapist with me though. You'd have to come next time.
No, you don't. You don't need. You just need another motivational GIF. I'll find you one. Hang on.
Well, Arthur, you know, Writer's Block has a week off, and then we're back the week after with a new residency with Caroline Smell. So please make sure you come along and keep sharing your work, because it's really, really fantastic what you're doing. And I'm really glad that you're able to share and to share it with us today.
Just thanks for the support. Thanks for the platform. I really do feel part of the WOW family.
You certainly are. Oh, sorry, just muted myself. So over to Sana's film that she shared with us earlier this week. Were you able to get that up? Wonderful. So this is Addled Brain by Sana King.
Give me a shout if the sound's not coming out. It should be though.
Yeah, it's working.
Nope, not today. If not today, when? What are you going to do today then? Or what aren't you going to do more like? What else are you going to avoid? Oh, fuck off. Just leave me alone. I've only just got up. Let me get myself together first. Let's just get breakfast done. Morning, moon unit. Morning.
ugly and I woke up handsome. Yeah, I went to bed ugly and I woke up handsome. Lord, I hope that I stay like this.
Shit, how long's that been there? Don't even remember putting it in. Oh, fuck, it stinks. For fuck's sake. I need to just stop lashing everything in here. Just eat it or chuck it out, girl. Not you, Dweezil. Promise I'll sort your funeral out soon. Go. Delicious. Slightly burnt, lumpy porridge, but looks like shit. Great. Oh, fuck. Fuck. Phew, one day I will burn the house down. Oh, look at the state of this place again. Maybe I should just let it burn to the ground. Start from scratch like a phoenix from the ashes, rather than carry on in this endless cycle. Same shit, different day. Now the porridge is cold as well as lumpy. Glad you're enjoying your breakfast, Moon Unit. What time is it now? Nearly noon. Half the day gone already. Another morning lost like a fart in the wind. Oh, fuck. I forgot to press start on the machine. Fuck's sake.
Absolutely fantastic. Next up, we'll have Tasmia with a poetry film. But what did everyone think of Sana's short film?
I love that it's just like excerpts of like incredibly written poetry inserted into the most mundane routine ever. I think that's really cool.
I love that as well. Sana, did you like to give some context to the film? You gave some context last week, but just for those who weren't there.
Yeah, so it's kind of just a snapshot of what it's like to have ADHD. There's sort of like elements that you may or may not see with first passes. I kind of think of it like The Simpsons. There's lots of different levels. So yeah, the speeding up of time and slowing down and all that. And yeah, it's a frozen rabbit in the bottom of the freezer, which actually there is a Viking burial at the very end, just after the credits. You just see a snapshot of the Viking burial, but we did at midsummer. So yeah, she passed away of natural causes, but it was winter. I didn't know where else to put her. But yeah, it's been an interesting thing to do. And I chatted with Guleraana about possibly making it into like the start of I wanted to do more in the day in the life. So it might be like a snap, one of a series of small short films, hopefully, if I ever get around to finishing them.
Brilliant. Tasmia, what were your thoughts?
I was going to say, put in the chat as well. I love how like you use the color red in places. I don't know if you did it consciously or if it was just kind of just something that came out of the natural process, but just like love the little splashes of red in that bathrobe and in that like wash up bowl was on the mug. It was just those little moments. They just made me go like, wow, that shows so much character. And that's without any words. And I loved it so much.
Brilliant. Guleraana and I were bonding over our ADHD, and Guleraana was actually sharing some resources with me that I might find helpful, which really were helpful. So it's quite nice to see people sharing that sort of shared experience, and I'd certainly recognise some of the elements of that film. So next, Tasmia, we have your short poetry film, if we can get that up. Would you like to give a little introduction to it?
Yeah, so I don't really know how best to introduce it. So I enjoy doing a lot of spoken word. So this is written very much in the spoken word sense. And then I am part of an activist theatre group called Stage 3. And essentially we used to, before the pandemic, tour around the country raising awareness about different political issues, including refugee crisis, and also one of the things that this was born out of was us learning about the 10 stages of genocide, which interestingly, genocide itself, or I know it's really like tough topic to talk about, but genocide itself is considered like the ninth stage within that 10 stages, and the first few stages that we often miss can really be kind of really everyday things which we forget about, but then they're all building up towards something bigger. And I think that was something that stayed with me a long time when we learned about that. Yeah, so the poem really is kind of more inspired by our kind of experiences of touring around, listening to different communities while we performed our pieces, and listening to like comments that we received online and things as well. Yeah, I hope you guys like it, and I can probably talk a little bit more about it once we play it.
Brilliant, fantastic. Well, here it is.
The intrinsic value of land. There is something rather precious about land. The ground at your feet is no mean feat, for it defines your existence despite all resistance and futile insistence that we're all born equal and no man is better than another, until you realize that in land lies your identity, your value to society, your right to security, to live in prosperity, free from adversity. And when nature strikes you with calamity, to find a helping hand, they'll ask you about your land. Are you legal? Are you banned? Imagine if the lines in sand were blurred by time's hand, and you found, all around, not land but water, peaceful, no sound, except your eternal dreams and your internal screams, and just water. Everywhere you look, land no matter, and you are shattered. Your hopes are dimmed, and you are deemed no longer worthy of sympathy or empathy. Zombies, you and me, as we stare without a care across the ocean or from the air. False prejudice, our privilege, born to a land and not the endless limbo that others withstand.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That is absolutely wonderful. So could you tell us a little bit more about how you came about this?
I think because we did so stage 3, we partnered with now I've completely gone blank, as you can imagine. So we partnered with I think it was Lord Dubb's amendment that he proposed in House of Lords to support unaccompanied child migrants, See, this is the problem when we kind of use language that's available in the media. Unaccompanied child refugees. It's awful that I literally, even like I'm like, I can already see how language affects how we talk. But anyway, coming back to what I was saying, Lord Dubb's amendment on supporting unaccompanied child refugees. This was before the pandemic, I think 2017, 2018 time, when we were working on this, and we toured around the country where we were supporting local councils put forward their essentially pledging to take in more child refugees, unaccompanied child refugees, and also how the kinder and kind of reflecting back on the history of kinder transport and so forth. So a lot of that kind of experience went into writing something rather kind of personal in many ways, that kind of reflection of how simple it is for someone to end up in that situation, and how often, like, some of us, we're just so fortunate that we will never have to face this kind of situations because of the virtual lottery that we've won by being who we are and being born where we are, and being born to a land that everyone loves, as opposed to suddenly being banned. And yeah, I think like I keep thinking back to the movie by with Tom Hanks, The Terminal, and that kind of it could be very simple. One moment, suddenly you're in that limbo. What happens? And I think, yes, it was kind of that kind of vein, that very personal reflection of feeling gratitude, but also the kind of anger and pain, thinking that it's literally a virtual lottery that we've somehow won without even needing to buy a ticket for.
Well, thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah, just from your poem, it does pick on something that is something I think I do take for granted every day, which is living in a land that is not disputed or subject to conflict. It's something that you don't think about when you don't have to. So it's really amazing that you raise that and you bring it to people's awareness through your poetry. So thank you so much. Let's have a look. We've got some commentary here. We've got Nancy says, love the rhyming and meaning, good visuals too. Georgia says, incredible. Guleraana says, always impressed by people who can rhyme. Me too. As a rapper, I can say I love rhyme. Janaea says, really lyrical, lovely, well done. She just says, wow, Tasmin is so powerful. And Sandra says, amazing, loved it. And Arthur says, simplistic but moralistic, the wheels keep turning. So yes, thank you for sharing that. Another thing was, one thing that people might not know about me is that in my teens, I lived in the Netherlands and I could speak fluent Dutch. And while I was living there, while I could speak it quite fluently, it's really, really difficult to express yourself fully in another language. So I can really appreciate that. It's quite hard. So I picked up on that as well. Yeah, so thank you. Right, is anyone else wanting to share? Has anyone else got some work? I'm trying to get a gallery view so I can see you all. Would anyone else like to share something? Arthur, please go right ahead. We'd love to hear from you again.
I'd like to, if you'd like to, I've brought the copy of my book with me. So this is the Wow book, and I've not really read much out of here. I've got a short piece in here, and I'd like to read something from the book of Wow.
Oh yes, please, and well done on the plug. I appreciate that. Make sure you pick up a copy. You can get it on the website.
Yeah, it's only £2.50 on Amazon. This is about my favourite bookshop called Right Blend in South Road in Waterloo. So you're ever in Right Blend, pop upstairs. I'm usually in the coffee shop. It says Right Blend Waterloo. Wow, a plethora of literature, an art and sales item left over. Who's for an Amazonian whistling tree frog, garden ornaments, or an ocarina, or a mini-me Iron Man on a postcard? It's the local lockdown art which intrigues. Rare birds in gardens, hobbies and hobby horses, rainy skies and dodgy modelling under rainy skies. Spot the NHS rainbows, ducklings being hatched. What blows me away? Well, simply the output and variety. One is a scene of a street party, a table for 25, 6 shivering pensioners serenading Vera Lynn. Yes, yes, we'll meet again on a grey, muddy street in Bootle. Cups of tea spraying, tea chattering, giving it a go. Let's sing it again. An old wartime sense of sharing for all. Never mind the hypothermia. An English summer, tea and cakes priced $10.99. Local art, the local price. I walked away with a leaflet on loneliness, how to combat it, but not sitting in the drizzle, in the wind, singing White Cliffs of Dover. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Arthur. And I'm telling you now, once you get the bug for performing, you will not get enough. So, and well done for getting up there, because it's really hard. It's really nerve-wracking to read that stuff out. And that was absolutely fantastic. What did everyone think?
Solid performance, Arthur.
It was
You're
a
a
solid
natural.
performance.
I loved the imagery, like little snapshots that told me so much. Yeah, it was just incredible. Loved how visual I felt it was, and yeah, I felt really kind of, I could see each of the different snapshots just like unfolding in front of me and just taking me to different places. Loved that.
Can I just say, Guleraana, this is your copy. I've got you a copy, so this is your copy when I get it to you. So
thanks.
Thank you again to my therapist.
Oh, that's lovely. Let's have a look. So Sheila says, well done, Arthur, on being published and reading. And Janae has a question. She says, how long have you been writing poetry for, Arthur?
I've been writing poetry since I was 4, but there's 55 years of poetry just gone in the bin. So I've never had faith in trying to sort of put pen to paper and try and get someone to look at it and take it on board. So I've thrown away 50 odd years. I've now decided I'm going to keep it and push it forward. So thanks.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Right. Jenny says, definitely keep writing. I agree, couldn't agree more. Just keep getting stuff down, Arthur, as much as you can. Every time you are inspired, pick up that pen and get writing. And Janae says, you're a natural, keep going. Tasmia says, your writing is amazing, never throw anything out again. Yeah, never ever throw something away, because even if you think it's bad, I always document everything, because you never know. You always go back to it, and you never know. Sometimes you come back to something, you go, oh, actually, there's something there. So always keep it. Always keep it. Right. Actually, if anyone would like to share, but I've actually got a question for Guleraana, which I've been meaning to ask, which is, when are you going to bring some work to Liverpool?
Well, that's a great question. I don't know. I guess when I write something that's finished and ready to be produced, and then one of the Liverpool houses wants to take it.
It's your duty now to make sure that it comes to the city.
Yeah, definitely.
Would anyone else like to share any work? Don't worry, if you've shared before, you can share again if you'd like. Tasmia, absolutely. Please share.
I can read a couple more stuff that I've written. I haven't made videos out of that, so I can just read them if that's okay. So
yes, please.
So obviously, yesterday was the International Holocaust Memorial Day, and I thought I'd read something that's not written particularly inspired by the day or anything like that, or by the history of Holocaust, but that I think goes with that. So I'll read it anyway. It's called The Casualty. In the aftermath, we talk about silence. We shout about silence. We talk over each other about silence. We argue over silence, each other's silence, and the cost of silence, and what was lost in our silence. What could have been had it not been for our silence, until silence itself is unheard. Yet, on the front and in the dark, between bullets and bombs, vox pops and camera shots, and endless tears and cries, silence booms the loudest.
Beautiful. Really gorgeous. What does everyone think?
It's got a lovely flow, Tasmia. Like it's got a really good rhythm.
Thank you. I like you said, like I used to do a lot of, well, I used to act. I say I used to act. It's been the pandemic, so that's why I haven't acted. Hopefully I'll act again. Never say never. And then that's why I've got, I think, very kind of performance element to stuff that I write, and I enjoy having that kind of like being able to listen to the poetry itself. So like a lot of people write poetry based on the kind of how it looks on the page, how it looks visibly, but for me it's a lot about how it's when you're hearing it. So yeah.
Brilliant. Let's have a look. We got Janae says, wow, lovely, very powerful. Jenny says that was brilliant. It flowed so well. Sana says, so good. Nartha says it's very prophetic, a signpost.
Thank you so much. Like, thank you for all your lovely comments. It means a lot. It really means a lot.
And Sheila says the theme is always relevant. Silence, you are introducing me to the spoken word.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sheila, have you got anything to share? Some more?
I have a poem that I wrote a little while ago, but it's kind of relevant, I suppose, to what we have covered. And I called it Writers Are Refugees.
Oh, lovely. Please go right ahead.
Writers are refugees, people who seek asylum in words. They are journeying from where they can no longer be to a place not yet determined. Wordy emotional baggage discarded along the way, too cumbersome for a language that does not sit easily on the tongue. New world patched with a remnant of that which has been left behind. A rain-swept green world where the essence of words are forged through the barren landscape.
Goodness, Sheila, I forgot where I was for a second then. I was completely, that was absolutely beautiful.
I wrote there's a refugee poet who came to Ireland. He had to leave his home country just with what he brought was the case with what he left home was with the case with his poetry, but he lost it along the way. And
goodness.
he had to learn a new language in a new place that was very different to his home place.
Wow.
So I wrote that for him.
Oh, that's...
I was inspired.
Ooh,
Was inspired.
you're gonna
was
get the tears
inspired
flowing
by
there.
him.
Goodness. Oh, that was
Okay,
beautiful.
thank you. Thank you for listening.
I'm so glad. I'm assuming it's not on. It's spotlit with Sheila, and you can't see my face because like my face was like, oh good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Dara says, I really like that. Great and so true. Arthur says, words, a double-edged sword. Yes, absolutely. Just amazing work today. Thank you everyone for sharing so much. So we're sort of coming to the end of the evening. So unless there's anyone who would like to perform, we've still got a little bit of time. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm suddenly sat in the dark. I'll put the light on. There we are. Is there anyone who'd like to share? Well, in that case, Guleraana, thank you so much for this residency. I can't tell you how amazing it has been. It is, and again, I know this is my first, but it's definitely set the goalposts high. Really, really thank you so much. Would anyone like to share any last thoughts with Guleraana?
Just a big thank you, Guleraana, for just being so open and so welcoming. And you know, when I signed up for the sessions, I was very much looking forward to just have my camera off, take notes, listen to you speak. But the way you could have incorporated all of our thoughts, all of what we were thinking, you know, getting us all to just engage and really could have, it helped me learn so much, not just from yourself, but from all the other participants as well. And that's so incredible. So thank you so much. And you've just been so amazing and so insightful. So thank you for being yourself.
Don't you like make my head explode? Arthur asked if I could show him my gift again. That was the motivational gift. There we go. It says motivational brigade coming through, and there's some men with weights. So that's what you need.
I was cheeky, I know, but I was talking and I missed it. Thanks very much.
No, that's fine.
I would like to second everything that Tasmia has said in relation to Guleraana, and not just you know, the wonderful workshops, but how she was able to get somebody like me to engage. Because when I saw that it was film and theatre, I thought, I know nothing about film and theatre. You know, what am I doing here? But I am so glad, really so glad that because you have opened new doors for me that I didn't hadn't recognized before. Thank you.
Brilliant. Great. I'm so pleased.
Lovely. Any other comments? Janir says, I so enjoyed this. Looking forward to the next writer's block. Wonderful. Brilliant. Right. Okay.
I can't deal with all of the validation. I'm just going to have to go lie down on the floor later and be like, what? No, I'm really pleased that you all took so much for it. Thank you so much for sharing and participating. It wouldn't have been what it was if you all hadn't, or everybody who has taken part hadn't contributed an element of themselves. So it was a collective process.
Yes, well, I think just seeing the work tonight, it shows you how well people responded to this, and I think I can't get enough of hearing people's work, and I think that's one of the greatest privileges of this job is to hear people's work. So please keep writing. I can't again. Just thank you to everyone for sharing. It's not easy to put yourself forward like that. So I really appreciate everyone who's spoken tonight. So we say goodbye to Guleraana. Thank you so much one last time. And I can announce that the next writer on the block will be Caroline Smales, who is an international best-selling author, and her residency will begin on the 8th of February. Tickets will open on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. So you can go to writingonthewall.org.uk and click the writers tab. I'm just talking gibberish now because it's late in the evening. You can click the tab that says Writers Block, and they will give you all the information about the next Writers Block. Thank you so much to our techs tonight. Once again, our tech was Georgia this evening. Thank you for making everything run so smoothly, especially the films. And just one last thank you to Guleraana. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I wish everyone a good evening, good night.
Thank you so much, Guleraana, and also thank you, Mikey, and your team at Writers Block for putting all of this together. Yeah, big claps for you guys as well.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very sweet.
And all the best, everybody. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.